After 3 years of marriage, I still hadn't gotten pregnant. My husband kept pressuring me, and after 2 long years of IVF treatments, I finally conceived. I was 8 months pregnant when I overheard a conversation between Joe and his best friend, Zach. "You intentionally provided Lily with birth control for 3 years just to convince her of her infertility," Zach stated. "Then you coerced her into IVF simply to implant Lindsay's eggs into her body. That's barbaric." Joe merely shrugged, responding coldly, "After 10 months of gestation, her body will be ravaged. She'll endure the most horrific pain during childbirth. I cannot let Lindsay go through that." Staring at the man steeped in deceit, I retrieved my phone and dialed the hospital. "Hello, I'd like to schedule an abortion," I stated with conviction. Zach chuckled grimly. "Aren't you concerned Lily will shatter when she discovers? No one wants to raise someone else's child, and after 10 months that baby isn't even hers. How would she find out? She's too dim-witted," Joe replied with a smirk. "Even if she did, she's 8 months pregnant. She wouldn't dare terminate it now. Look at her. She's as corpulent as a pig. Who else would desire her besides me? Yes, everyone knows how fixated Lily is on you. She clings to you like a stubborn bandage," Zach laughed. "But honestly, I'm curious what it's like with a pregnant woman." Joe rolled his eyes in revulsion. "She sickens me. Her belly resembles a watermelon. I'd rather watch adult films than touch her." "Since you're not interested, allow me to try next time." "I've always wondered what it feels like," Zach said with a twisted grin. The two men laughed, each chortle piercing my heart like a blade. Due to the in vitro fertilization, I had received countless hormone injections and medications. My body was distended and misshapen. Joe insisted I take daily supplements, asserting it was for the baby's nourishment. By 5 months, my abdomen was covered in stretch marks. I believed he cared. Now I understood he only cared about the infant, his and Lindsay's. Cold perspiration trickled down my back. I nearly fled that suffocating house. After regaining composure, I called the hospital again. "Hello, I'd like to confirm my appointment for an abortion." That night, I hurried to the hospital. I couldn't endure another second. The doctor observed my enlarged abdomen and inquired cautiously, "You're already 8 months along. Are you certain? Where is the baby's father?" "Deceased," I responded. If Joe was so elated about this child, I would present him with a gift he would never forget. The doctor perceived the despair in my eyes and did not press further. He provided me with medication and the appointment form. "Take the medication, return in 3 days for the procedure." I returned home exhausted, but the door would not open. The password had been altered. Just as I reached for my phone, the door swung open, and Lindsay emerged in a revealing nightgown. "The light at my place is broken," she said sweetly. "Joe didn't want me staying alone, so he asked me to move in. He changed the password to my birthday so I'd remember it. You don't mind, do you?" My gaze fell upon her loose shoulder strap. There was a fresh mark on her chest. She wore nothing beneath. "Lily is so thoughtful. Of course she won't mind," a voice called from inside. Joe was seated on the couch. His trousers were rumpled, shirt inside out, and there was a wet stain on the sofa. He rose and embraced me. "You shouldn't be out so late. You're pregnant. What if something happened?" His words made my skin crawl. He was feigning concern while sharing a bed with his first love in our home. He even changed the lock to exclude me. I said nothing and proceeded directly upstairs. Later, Joe, who detested milk, brought me a glass. "You need more calcium and protein now. Be good and drink it." I looked at the glass. "I don't want it." Joe appeared awkward but insisted, "It's for you and the baby." Without another word, he poured the milk into my mouth. It tasted sweet and faintly metallic. Soon I began to feel drowsy. Through hazy eyes, I thought I saw 2 figures merging beside me. The next morning, I awoke in pain. When Joe left for work, I retrieved my hidden phone from the flower pot. I had left it recording after he gave me the milk. The video shattered me. After I fell asleep, Joe and Lindsay entered, kissing and laughing. Lindsay whispered, "You don't know how awful I feel seeing you with her every day." Joe spat on my face and kicked me. "She's nothing. I only married her for the baby. Compared to you, she's not even worth a single strand of your hair." Lindsay grinned. "Are you sure she had enough sleeping pills?" Then we'd better keep some evidence against her. Joe agreed and helped her strip me completely. They dragged my limp body to a stool, positioned me with my legs open towards the bed. Joe held the phone, taking pictures, while Lindsay kept changing my posture. After taking enough pictures, they began moving recklessly towards my unconscious body. I watched the scenes on my phone with tears streaming down my face. My heart ached with every second. Without hesitation, I turned off the video and swallowed the pills the doctor had prescribed. "What are you taking?" Joe's voice suddenly echoed from the doorway. I looked up and met his eyes, feigning calm. "It's just a calcium tablet," I said, softly. Joe looked relieved and walked upstairs. "I forgot a document," he muttered as he disappeared up the stairs. I quietly picked up his phone from the table. I entered Lindsay's birthday as the password. The screen lit up, showing a photo of them hugging and kissing. His phone had a dual system. I opened his chat application. The first contact was Lindsay. The second was a group chat with his friends. What I saw next made my hands tremble and the phone almost fall to the floor. The chat was filled with the nude photos Joe and Lindsay had taken the night before. "Joe, you beast? And Lily still looks hot. You know, there's something special about pregnant women. I wonder how she tastes. Don't lie. Lily looks like a total, she'd be the hottest star at any club." Their vulgar words crushed me. I felt like a naked animal, exposed and humiliated. "Baby, why are your eyes red?" Joe came back downstairs holding the document. I had already returned to the sofa, pretending nothing had happened. He draped a blanket over me. "It's still a bit chilly. You're pregnant. You need to be careful," he said gently. He smiled. "It's Lindsay's birthday tonight. I invited a few friends over. You should dress up nicely." At the sound of her name, I stiffened. My expression darkened. "I want to rest today. I don't want to be disturbed," I said in a low voice. Joe's face dropped. "Lindsay's birthday is only once a year. I've done everything to accommodate you during this pregnancy. Can't you do this one thing for me?" Even without saying more, Joe couldn't wait to defend his precious Lindsay. Love and hate so clearly divided. In the end, he still invited his friends and held the party at our home. As soon as I walked downstairs, I felt their eyes on me, teasing, mocking, filled with something dark. "Lily, we're wearing the same dress. What a coincidence." Lindsay clutched my hand playfully. Only then did I notice. Our red dresses were identical. "This dress looks so much better on you, Lindsay," Joe said loudly. "Lily's fat and swollen now. She can't match your charm." "Joe, don't say that," Zach smirked. "Honestly, I think your wife looks more exotic like this." He grabbed my hand, rubbing it with his palm. His touch was disgusting. I tried to pull away, but he held tighter, raising an eyebrow at me with a sleazy grin. "I like her like this. She feels good." I looked at Joe, silently pleading for assistance. But he only stared back coldly. "You're lucky my friend even praises you. Don't be ungrateful." My voice trembled. "Joe, I'm your wife." He stood and pulled me close, his voice fake and sweet. "Baby, they're just joking. You're being too sensitive." I pulled away and said coldly, "You all can continue. I'm going upstairs." Before I could leave, Joe handed me a glass of milk. "Drink this first. It's for your calcium." I stared at the glass, my hands shaking. "What do you want?" "I'm just concerned. You need supplements in the 3rd trimester. Don't you trust your husband?" "I don't want it," I said firmly. Joe's expression turned cold. "I've been patient. I'm doing this for your own good. Just drink it." "Joe, don't be so forceful," someone said from behind. Lindsay walked over with a warm smile and handed me a glass of water. "Here, Lily, just drink some warm water first." I took the glass and stared at the clear liquid. "Can I go rest after this?" I drank it in one gulp. The warmth slid down my throat. Then something felt wrong. My body began to burn. It was like insects crawling under my skin, gnawing at me. "What did you give me?" My legs turned heavy like lead. My body weakened, collapsing into someone's arms. Through blurry eyes, I saw Zach's twisted face hovering over me. His hands were already on my body, "Lindsay, you're ruthless," he sneered. "You didn't think the photos were enough to control her, so you drugged her. Smart move. Even if she finds out the surrogacy truth, she won't dare speak out with this hanging over her." I screamed with all the strength I had left. "Let me go!" But I couldn't move. I had no strength left. I could only look at Joe, desperately trying to awaken a shred of conscience in him. Joe put his arm around Lindsay and looked at me with a cold stare. Then he turned to Zach. "Be gentle. She's still pregnant. That's Lindsay's child inside her." Zach's hands continued to wander across my body. "Don't worry, bro. We know our limits. We won't harm your baby." Then Zach picked me up and carried me upstairs. I looked at Joe one last time. "You'll regret this," I whispered. Lindsay smirked and raised her glass. "Besides the drug to arouse you, I added a dose of anesthetic. It'll make you forget the pain. When you wake up, you'll still be the obedient dog by Joe's side. I hope you have sweet dreams tonight," she said, sipping her wine. And just like that, everything went dark. That night, I felt something tearing me apart, like I was being ripped to pieces. When I woke up, I was lying unclothed on the cold floor, blood pooling beneath me. "Help me," I whispered. I crawled towards the door, knocking with what little strength I had left. Laughter came from the other side. "Don't fake it. Your moaning was louder than anyone's. Get some rest. You won't remember a thing tomorrow." Then Joe's voice. "We're done here. Let's move on." A loud bang echoed through the house as the door closed, locking me inside my own nightmare. I dragged myself to the phone, leaving a trail of blood behind me. Somehow, I called the hospital. The next time I opened my eyes, I was in a white hospital room, the sharp scent of disinfectant surrounding me. "Miss Jones, we couldn't save your baby. What would you like us to do with the remains?" the nurse asked gently. I looked at the small bundle she handed me and said calmly, "Call a courier." That night, Joe and his friends came home after their celebration. The moment they opened the door, they froze. A bloody trail led from the staircase into the living room. "Lily!" Joe called out, panic rising in his voice. He rushed upstairs, but all he found was a pool of blood. Then the doorbell rang. "Mr. Brown, delivery for you. Please sign here." Joe stared, confused. He hadn't ordered anything. The delivery man handed him a large box. As soon as he touched it, a metallic, rusty smell hit his nose. His hands trembled as he opened it. Everyone gasped. Lindsay screamed, backing away in terror. "No, this isn't real!" Joe dropped the box. Its contents rolled onto the floor, staining his shoes with dark red blood. Then he saw it. On the inside of the box, a message written in blood. "I hope you and Lindsay enjoy this gift." Joe's hands shook as he fumbled for his phone, trying to call me. The call wouldn't go through. Blocked. She knows everything," he muttered, then turned to Zach and grabbed his collar. "What did you do to her?" Zach hesitated, fear flashing in his eyes. "You agreed too. Ask Lindsay. Didn't she say the drug would erase her memory?" "This wasn't just me," Lindsay panicked. "Joe, I'm heartbroken too. That baby was mine. I gave her the drug, but I didn't touch her. Those blood stains were from last night. It wasn't me." Zach scoffed. "Come on, Joe, you never even liked her. Now the baby's gone. You can be with Lindsay openly. We just helped you test her body. Trust me, there's nothing worth saving." Bang! Joe punched Zach in the face. "She's my wife. You don't get to talk about her." Blood poured from Zach's mouth and he spat out 2 teeth. Shocked, Zach growled, clutching his mouth. "You're seriously doing this for a woman you told Lindsay you needed dirt on us? That's why you let us do it." "Shut up," Joe snapped, tackling Zach to the ground, hitting him again and again. Lindsay rushed to stop him, but Joe shoved her away. She fell back, right into the bloodied remains, and jumped up screaming, "What is this? It's disgusting." Joe turned to her slowly, eyes filled with rage and disgust. Then the assistant burst in. "Mr. Brown, something terrible's happened. A video of you and Miss Collins is all over the internet. It's gone viral. Brown Corp stocks are crashing." Joe grabbed the tablet from his hands. There on the screen was the footage. Joe and Lindsay dragging Lily's unconscious body like an animal, posing her for photos. The comment section was in flames. He looked like such a devoted husband. What a monster! That poor woman was pregnant. This is unforgivable. Lindsay is disgusting. First she stole someone's husband, then helped him do this. Lindsay went pale. It's her. She set us up. She planned this. Maybe she even aborted the baby on purpose. She grabbed Joe's arm. We can't let her ruin us. Joe shook her off and turned to the assistant. Where is Lily now? I need to see her. The assistant handed him an address. Joe ran to the car and drove recklessly through red lights until he reached the hospital. He stormed into the obstetrics ward, yelling, Lily, I'm here! But the room was empty. Gone. He grabbed a nurse in desperation. Where is she? Where's my Lily? The nurse looked him directly in the eye, filled with contempt. You still have the nerve to come here? Your wife was covered in blood when she arrived. She almost died, and now she's gone. Joe grabbed the nurse's arm and hesitated. How did Lily lose the baby? The nurse looked at him like he was a complete fool. You don't know. You had your fun, but you didn't even notice your wife bleeding to death. I honestly don't know how a man like you exists. Joe couldn't hear the rest. His mind echoed with the last words I had whispered. Save me. But back then, he and the others laughed and walked away, leaving me in pain and darkness. Joe fell to his knees. It was me. I hurt her. I killed my child. His face was soaked in tears, eyes filled with regret. Please tell me where she is. I beg you. The nurse sighed and finally replied, I don't know. Someone took her away early this morning. Joe staggered to his feet, but before he could move, 2 traffic officers approached him. Mr. Brown, you're under investigation for running multiple red lights and driving under the influence. Please come with us. Joe was detained. Meanwhile, I was reclining in a private recovery center, eating fruit, when I received the news. What are you going to do now? My best friend asked, wiping tears from her eyes as she looked at the scar on my abdomen. Joe and Lindsay are ruined. Of course, I'm getting a divorce, I replied calmly. I refuse to be tied to a man like that for the rest of my life. But Joe will never agree now. I set down my fork and looked at her. Oh, he will. She hesitated for a moment. But the videos you released, they didn't just hurt him. They exposed you too. Do you regret it? I shook my head. Women are more than a piece of cloth. I did nothing wrong. Why should I be ashamed? After I had recovered sufficiently, I went to the police station. Joe, now bearded and gaunt, was sitting inside the detention room. Lily, I know I was wrong. Please forgive me. He knelt at my feet the moment he saw me, as if praying to a deity. You used me to carry Lindsay's child. You drugged me. You took pictures of me. Do you really think sorry is enough? I asked coldly. Joe grabbed my hand with his cuffed wrists. Lily, I'll do anything. Just forgive me. I looked at him in silence for a moment, then pulled out a folder. Then transfer all your assets to me. Without hesitation, Joe nodded. Yes, I promise. He signed everything while I watched. Then I turned the page, revealing another document. He squinted at the writing, but before he could read it, I pressed his hand down. I was 8 months pregnant, Joe. I could feel him kick during the day. But at night, they pulled him from my body, and he didn't make a sound. Stop, Lily. Please. I know I was wrong. I'll make it up to you, he pleaded. Joe signed the next document blindly. I slipped the documents back into my bag, stood, and looked down at him one last time. Only when you lose everything will you learn to see who's real and who's a ghost. Joe stared up at me, confused. I turned and walked away. Lily, wait! I'll take care of you. We'll start over. I didn't stop. I didn't look back. You have no future, I whispered. Outside, I pulled out the signed documents. Hidden between them was the divorce agreement. I dialed my lawyer. File for divorce immediately. A month passed. Joe was released. Lily, I'm back, he called excitedly as he entered the house. But what greeted him wasn't home. Strangers were moving boxes, cleaning, rearranging furniture. Who are you? What are you doing in my house? One of the men looked him up and down with disgust. Who are you? This is my house. I just bought it. Joe's face twisted in disbelief. From whom? The owner, of course. A woman named Lily. You No, the one from that viral video? 8 months pregnant? Ring a bell? The man waved a feather duster at him. Get lost, beggar! Don't dirty my new floor! Joe stumbled back, his knees collapsing beneath him. He pulled out his phone, trembling, and tried to call me. Number unavailable. He opened WhatsApp and sent a voice message. Lily, are you messing with me? Please come back. I'll wait for you at home. An exclamation mark appeared next to the message. Blocked. Joe stared blankly, then called his assistant in desperation. The moment the call connected, he exploded. What do you even do? You didn't know my villa was sold? What's the point of keeping someone useless like you, Joe? The assistant answered slowly. I think you misunderstood something. For the first time, the assistant's tone was cold, completely void of the usual respect. You're no longer my boss. Joe's face froze. You resigned? Why didn't you report? To me? The assistant let out a short laugh. Do you think you're still the high and mighty President Brown? Do I owe you anything? A chill ran through Joe's spine. What are you talking about? Brown Enterprises has been dissolved. The company is bankrupt. So put away that arrogant attitude, Joe. You're finished. A drowning dog. Anyone can step on you now. The assistant hung up. Joe stared at the phone, and in his mind, my words echoed again. Only when you truly lose everything will you realize whether the people around you were human or ghosts. Joe collapsed to his knees, screaming in pain. At that moment, a courier appeared in front of him. Mr. Brown, you have a package to sign for. His hand trembled. Last time he received a package, it destroyed his world. He opened it slowly, only to see a small red book inside, a divorce certificate. His hands shook violently. He pulled out the signed agreement. His whole body went numb. He sat down heavily like a broken puppet. Desperate, he ran to the office building. But when he looked up, the sign had already changed. Biden Group. Isn't this our once glorious President Brown? Someone sneered. Joe turned and saw Zach dressed in luxury, leaning on a Ferrari with his arm wrapped around Lindsay. Lindsay, Joe whispered. She smiled coldly. Don't call me that. You'll make Zach jealous. Joe's entire body shook with rage. How could you do this to me? I lost everything for you. Even Lily left me, and now you betray me? Lindsay rolled her eyes. You're broke, Joe. What use do I have for a loser? Joe snapped. You tricked me. If it weren't for you, I would have never... Before he could finish, Zach kicked him to the ground. A useless man like you touching my woman. Zach stepped on Joe's hand. Crack! Joe screamed in pain as blood filled his mouth. You think you're still the president of Brown? Lily sold the company to me. Your woman, your company, they're all mine now. Joe struggled to speak, teeth knocked out, hand crushed. I won't let you get away with this. Lindsay crouched beside him, looking at him like he was trash. You have nothing left. No one fears a drowning dog. She smirked. If you were still rich, I might have let you play with me a little. But now, disgusting. She kissed Zach's cheek and walked away with him, laughing. Joe remained on the ground, watching them disappear. My words repeated in his mind, haunting him. Only when you lose everything will you understand the truth. Joe murmured, Lily, I understand now. Please come back. That night, the wind howled through the empty streets. Joe crept into a villa. His mind shattered. Inside, laughter and moans filled the air. Joe picked up a rope, his eyes full of madness. He sneaked behind the man, Zach, and yanked the rope tight. Help! Lindsay screamed in horror. Zach's face turned purple, choking, reaching out desperately towards Lindsay. But she froze in fear, watching speechless. Joe tightened the rope until Zach's body went limp, lifeless. He dropped the body, stepped on Zach's head. That's for touching my Lily, for humiliating her. You deserve worse. Lindsay tried to crawl, away inch by inch, as Joe's eyes locked on her. The next second, Joe grabbed Lindsay by the hair and dragged her towards Zach's lifeless body. Don't you like seducing men? Then do it now, he snarled. Lindsay fell to her knees, sobbing uncontrollably. I was wrong, Joe. Please forgive me. I'll be obedient. I'll stay by your side forever. Slap! Joe struck her hard across the face. Stay with me? You think you're worthy? You're nothing but a used by thousands. Lindsay's face swollen, clung to Joe's arm. I was forced, Joe. I'm just a weak woman. Zach took advantage of me while you were detained. I didn't dare to fight back. Joe's eyes were bloodshot, filled with rage like a demon from hell. You think I still believe your lies? You manipulated me. If not for you, I wouldn't have lost Lily and my child. That was my baby too. Lindsay screamed, tears streaming down her face. No one is more heartbroken than I am. Joe, let me make it up to you. I'll give you another child. Joe laughed coldly and slapped her again. You give me a child? You're not even worth a single finger of Lily. Terror spread in Lindsay's eyes. Joe, you think you're any better? You caused all of this. Joe hesitated. His grip loosened. Lindsay took her chance. You wanted Lily to carry a child that wasn't hers. You allowed Zach to violate her while she was pregnant. You say you loved me, but you married Lily. You say you loved Lily, but you betrayed her. You only ever loved yourself. Joe's face twisted. It's not true. I loved Lily. From beginning to end, it was only her. You blinded me. You made me lose everything. Screaming in madness, Joe grabbed Lindsay's hair and slammed her head against the coffee table. The glass shattered, and blood poured from her forehead. She gasped, trying to crawl away, but Joe stepped on her chest and pressed her down. You made a mistake. Now you'll pay the price. He pulled out a knife. No, Joe. Listen to me. Go to Lily. She's the one who sold your company, your house. She ruined you. I can tell you where she is. Joe's hand paused. That night, a fire broke out in a villa on the outskirts of the city. Flames consumed everything. 2 bodies, 1 male, 1 female, were found in the wreckage. But Joe had already left. He drove until dawn to the address Lindsay gave him. It was a quiet place on the edge of town, a welfare home. Children played. In the yard, their laughter echoing through the morning air. In the distance, a woman sat quietly, watching the children with warm, loving eyes. When she turned, Joe quickly ducked behind a tree. It was Lily. She looked peaceful, healed, happy. Then a small child tugged on her hand and asked, Mother Jones, do you have a child? I gently touched my stomach. A faint smile on my lips as a tear rolled down my cheek. I once had a child, but he became an angel and flew away. Her words sliced through Joe's heart like a knife. He couldn't bear it. He turned and walked away. Joe ended up at the beach, the waves crashing against the rocks. He stood there alone, lost. Joe, when are we getting married? A soft voice whispered in his memory. He turned, and in the sea mist, he thought he saw us 5 years ago, young, in love. Lily, I was wrong, he sobbed. Suddenly, footsteps approached. Joe Brown, you are under arrest for murder. Come with us. The police stood in formation, weapons ready. Joe slowly raised his hands, surrendering. I will treat you well, Lily. I'll never lie again, he whispered to the wind, recalling our long-forgotten promises. He looked one last time at the vast sea and jumped. Joe drowned that morning, taking his guilt with him. I was boarding a plane when I saw the news. Villa fire, 2 bodies, 1 suicide, 1 fugitive. But I wasn't surprised. The address Lindsay gave Joe, I let her find it on purpose, because I wanted to know if Joe still had even a shred of conscience. And now I had my answer.